Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an Airbus pilot, and today let's have a look at the brand new Fenix update with the version number 214. So let's head straight into the cockpit of our lovely Airbus A320 and let's have a look into what is new. The version's just been released today on the 22nd of August 2023, and we have got mostly updates from the flight model perspective, with a further refined flare phase and better rotation and a rectified flap 3 drag situation, and the nose no longer smashing down on the landing instantly. There's quite a bit of system changes as well. In this first video I'm going to do a little traffic pattern to see how the new flight model looks like, how the rotation, how the derotation feels, and then in a second video we'll do a full flight having a look into all those VNAV changes as well. So the update is now available. You can grab it via the Fenix manager on your system, and it basically can be installed by just installing it on top of the previous versions, just like we are used to. But okay, with all of that said, we are staying on runway 28 in Nuremberg. We're going to do a very quick traffic pattern just to see how the update is going to look like. Pattern altitude will be 1500 AGL, and you should be fairly familiar with the procedure by now. So here's our takeoff data. We're trimmed 0.5 degree down, which we have in here. And once again, as a reminder, you need about 2/3 of backstick, which equates to the cross being somewhere between 7.5 to 10 degrees, and that should give you a 3 degree per second rotation rate. So I haven't actually flown this update prior to recording the video because I want the impression to be as fresh as possible. So let's go ahead and take off. First thing that should be changed with this update now is the rotation, so let's see how that is going to develop. Manflex 55, SAS runway, auto thrust blue. So not sure what that little bump there was, but probably something in the runway rather than in the airplane. 100 knots, checked. Okay, V1, rotate. Did you notice the one indication there was actually not where it was supposed to be? Okay, positive climb, gear up. So, we are in the air. Rotation was a little bit easier, however, in my opinion, it was still a little bit too quick compared to what it should be like. But that is certainly still an improvement over the old version. Okay, speed alt star. Flaps 1. Pull as speed. Oh, come on, go up, go up, go up. Here we go, that's what we want. Okay, flight directors off. Bird on, let's go into the pattern. So that was strange. When I pulled the speed, it opened up on the present speed. It should be on the target speed, so it should have opened up on 250, and that should have maintained my climb power rather than the engine spooling back, so that was a little interesting there. But anyway, we've got our airplane under control. We are turning onto the downwind, and then we can have a look into the traffic pattern. So a small word there as I just came across it. So pause the video for a second and go back to where we just about rotated, and then have another look into the rotation symbol and the V1 symbol, because the rotation was actually below the V1 symbol, and that certainly shouldn't be. They should be right onto one another and not the other way around. And most importantly, the V1 symbol has always to be at or below your rotation and never above the rotation. So that was something that certainly needs correcting there. Indeed, when we took off, I had programmed both V1 and V-rotate as 135 knots, so they should have been equal. Okay then, we're in downwind. Let's activate the approach phase. Don't really need too much of that wind data here. I'll just put the QNH in and the wind as calm. and we're going to make this a config 3 landing using auto brakes low. Okay then, perfect. So, we're about to pass a beam the runway threshold. We're at 1500 feet, that means 45 seconds, and we can start the timing just now. So 45 seconds, we got 17 knots of tailwind there, so we can subtract those. So give me something like 35 seconds, and that should keep us absolutely safe. I will also go ahead and draw that radial in over here. Okay, perfect. So at 35 seconds we'll turn inbound, flaps 2. And we can manage the speed. Here we go. So, 35 seconds, let's start our base turn. And start a gradual descent at a couple hundred feet a minute. So the next thing is going to be the drag with a flap 3 situation. Because that was a little bit off the scale previously. I'm sure you've seen my review on the flight model of the new Fenix. In any case, what we can summarize it into was that with flap 3 you should have a lot more drag than you previously had. Okay then, gear down. Flaps 3, let's see what we are about to get. So on final, we should need a thrust somewhere in the region about 50%-ish. Maybe a little bit less, and we are looking at a pitch of plus 5 degrees that we want for our final approach. Okay then, let's turn base, or let's turn final much rather. So again, we should be looking at some 4 or 5 degrees pitch. Unfortunately, that still is not the case. Okay then, turning final. I'm keeping auto thrust on over here, because I just want my speed to be exactly where I want it to be. Okay, no, that pitch is still incorrect on the final there. We should be looking at 5 degrees, we are flying pretty much level with the horizon, so the pitch is still incorrect. In terms of drag though, we need about 45% N1 now it seems. So that is quite alright. So next thing then is the flare model. Previously it used to flare, well, very, very strongly. With the previous update that was incorrect, and they say in the changelog that they have fixed this. So I'm excited to see what that is going to look like. Again, as a reminder on how the Airbus flare logic works, at 30 feet it adds a slight nose down input, which forces the pilot to flare the airplane, and that kind of resembles a conventional airplane pulling off the thrust. Okay, so let's see how that's gonna work.
50, 40, 30,
so I'm flaring it now. Okay, climbing away.
20,
Come on.
10, 5.
So this is no stick input right now. No, that is not how an Airbus flares. So that was certainly not enough. That was certainly not enough nose down input. You could see how I pulled the nose up by like 2 degrees, as you should, and then the airplane started to climb away. That it certainly shouldn't. And overall, well, I am a bit disappointed, I have to say, because after the flare started, I released my side stick back to neutral, and the airplane simply kept, pretty much kept its attitude. That shouldn't happen. So the way it should feel when you fly the Airbus is you pull the stick backwards, and then it is going to need a constant backward stick input. And like that, you basically have the pitch of your airplane directly in your hand on the side stick. That is how it should be. And that way you can control it really precisely. So, I don't know. I would say we need a further update on this. So yeah, that is my very first impression. I'm going to do a full flight to see all the VNAV changes in effect. Maybe there is a little bit better or a little bit more effective changes over there. We'll have to see about it. In any case, that's gonna be it for this video. So the new update is available through the Fenix Manager. I can recommend you to get it. It does improve the rotation, even though things aren't quite perfect yet. Okay, thank you for watching everyone, and I see you all again on the next one.